And when I'm listening to you, what I'm hearing is that it's not even the belief that they don't love me or love me enough. It's the belief that somewhere inside, I am not lovable.
Yes. Yes.
Right? It's so inside you. It's not even about them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not valuable. I'm not.
Yeah. It's because that's your mirror at first, right? But it's so complicated and nuanced. Do I believe my father loved me? Of course, in the way that he could. I think that he felt the most loving thing he could do was tell me, I can't be your father. And I respected that, even at 7, because I was like, at least somebody's telling me the truth. I've always respected hardcore truths. That is one thing about me. I respect hardcore truths. Doesn't mean I always like them, but I freaking respect them.
At 7.
At
like
7.
That lesson started.
That's a gangster hardcore truth to tell a child. But then at the same time, that seed within me that is like, well, are all men like that? Like, if my dad doesn't love me, how is any man gonna love me? I didn't realize that at 7.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I started getting into like 16, 17, when I start, having those kind of intimate relationships with men and realizing, oh wow, I'm real. This area is quite unhealthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of just like how I viewed myself. I was either giving too much or not enough. I'm either hot or super cold. Emotionally.
Yeah.
And so trying to regulate and understand, because, my understanding is that a young girl's first relationship and understanding of love is with her father. I didn't have that at all. Mm-hmm. So I'm still learning.
Yeah.
I'm still really immature in that area of just emotional development around intimacy with masculinity. I know that now, whereas before I didn't know that.
Yeah, you're not aware.
I'm not aware. Like, this is just what it is. And then growing up in an environment with so much violence and so much aggression, and oh man, it was like, what do you do with all that? And trying to just like unpack all of it to just figure out like, oh, life is about love. It's not about power and ego and winning and losing. I mean, it's taken me, I'm 52. Just now understanding that. It's been a wild ride, but you know what? Every day I thank the Great Supreme for the journey and just for giving me the awakenings, the little awakenings that I get about love and just my willingness to have it, really wanting to understand what love is all about. But I do have to give my grandmother a lot of credit.
Yeah, I was going to talk about it.
Yeah, Marion really, I had all these different seeds that were planted in me. And Marion's seed, that goes to show you how the legacy of love will overpower everything. It is the legacy of love that my grandmother instilled in me, and also the desire to search. She always had me understand that the world is full of treasures. Get out there and find them. She instilled that in me at a very young age. And she also instilled in me that I was special. But I was her first grandchild. I was her first grandchild.
There you go, making excuses.
Right, well, I'm just saying, I was her first grandchild. And so she really made me think that I could be and do anything. Being the child of 2 addicts on one side, and then my grandmother instilling in me like, no, I'm telling you, you got something, kid. You know what I mean? And so just being able to hold on to those seeds that she put within me. And then, of course, my mother encouraging me along the way, too. My mother saw some really beautiful stuff in me as well. And she's been one of my biggest cheerleaders and champions throughout my life.
Absolutely. If your grandmother saw you today, what would she say?
Oh, my goodness. My grandmother would be so proud of me through it all. Like, with the good and the challenges. She had a very challenging life, extremely. And what she was able to make out of her life as a immigrant, child of 2 immigrants from Jamaica. She became pregnant at 13. To this day, we don't know how that happened. We do believe that it was a mistake, and it wasn't that she was raped or molested or, I never got that from her. I always got that it was her lack of knowledge about sex that created that circumstance. And she had that baby on her own. She was pretty much abandoned, and she was taken in by a family through a white family who she worked for as a maid, and got herself to Howard University.
Wow.
And was able to go to India as an ambassador.
Wow.
Yeah, she went to India and came back, and my grandfather, who was studying to be a doctor, asked her to get married. So I think she would be and is very proud of me with it all.
I love that. That's special to feel that if someone was to look back.